Hi, my name is Mike Taylor, and I'd like to share with you a little bit of advice I've picked up over the years that I wish I'd known when I was just getting started out. So this is a little something inspired originally by Ira Glass. Being creative is fun. It's about taking risks and experimenting and breaking rules and all that good stuff. It's really invaluable to do something and get paid for it, something that you really truly enjoy. The desire to create is one of the deepest yearnings of the human soul. No matter what our talents are, our education, our backgrounds, our abilities, we all have an inherent desire to create something that didn't exist before. Now, I realize telling people at a design conference not to ignore design is a bit of preaching to the choir, but I think it's always a good reminder. As many of us know, design thinking can be challenging, but not thinking about it can be disastrous. Which leads us to the next point that everyone is a designer. Most people just don't know about it. The alternative to good design is always bad design. There is no such thing as no design. And design is no different than any other skill. To succeed, you've got to practice. To be a good artist, guitar player, anything else, it takes practice and a lot of it, more than you can generally imagine when you're first starting out. A lot of us are naturally attracted to the advanced whiz-bang tools and techniques we see, but we really can't skip over the fundamentals, so be sure you nail the basics first and detail the details later. Speaking of the basics, it's amazing how far typography and white space can take you. I love this quote. This is one of my favorites. 90% of design is typography, and the other 90% is white space. Being a good designer is not about knowing all the gimmicks and fancy software tricks. If you haven't got the eye and mastered the basics, then there's no software out there that's ever going to give it to you. And know that you're going to make mistakes. We all do, every single one of us. But it's through these mistakes that you can actually grow. You have to get bad in order to get good. Another important lesson that I've learned the hard way is to share your work early and often. The later in the process you wait to get feedback, the more difficult it is to make changes. And this may be the most important thing of all. Never stop learning. The most successful people are lifelong learners who never stop acquiring new skills. You can't be content with mastery, you have to push yourself to become a student again. And curiosity is a huge driver of learning. Be curious about the world, look things up, chase down references, go deeper than anybody else. That's how you're going to succeed. Know that every new idea is just a mashup or a remix of one or more previous ideas. Now, stealing like an artist doesn't mean plagiarize or rip off, but study, credit, remix, mash up, and transform. Nothing is completely original. And there aren't any shortcuts to success either. To get better, you have to do a lot of work. You don't think your way to creative work, you work your way to creative thinking. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It might even be a good thing. It's really easy to keep doing what feels familiar, but we should always try to look for ways to step out of our comfort zone. That's where a lot of growth happens. And if you're worried you don't measure up, that may be a good sign that you actually do. The truly untalented probably have no idea that they're no good because they're too untalented to realize it. Talent is a pursued interest. In other words, anything you're willing to practice, you can do. As I mentioned, if you stay curious and do the work, you're probably going to do pretty well. The thing nobody tells people who do creative work is that it's going to take a while. It's normal to take a while. You've just got to fight your way through it and don't give up. In the end, the trick to doing great work is not to eliminate that nervous feeling that you might be swimming out of your depth. It's to remember everyone else feels it too. We're all in deep water, and that's okay because that's the most exciting place to be.